You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Hello, everybody. My name is Obi Cthulhu, and welcome back from my 6-month hiatus? 5-month hiatus? Who knows? That's a little... We don't have to talk about that. This year has been a really great year for movies. I honestly wish I went to the theater more often, but I had some issues going on by myself, so this video compiles a list of movies that I watched for the first time this year. This video idea was actually suggested by my good friend, and he said he would do the same, so hoping to see that video out at some point. I'll give my top 10 2023 movies at the end of this video as a speed run. I don't want to take too much time, but I at least want to recognize the films that I watched that came out this year. But I also want to talk about the movies that I watched probably at home, and I just loved it all. I had a really great time with them. Still, a lot of good movies came out this year. I just have a lot more to say about these movies. Anyways, this list may or may not surprise you, but I'm excited to talk about these films regardless. Also, as a pretense, I don't really want to spoil these movies for you. I want to suggest that you all watch these movies, and if I do end up spoiling it, I will give a spoiler warning, and I'll get this part out of the way. All the movies are 10 out of 10. I think these movies are perfect. These movies are awesome. I won't give any ratings at the end of them because I just told you what I rate them. So, let's get into it, starting with some honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is not technically a movie. It is a show. It's an animated show called Serial Experiments Lain. I watched it. It's on Letterboxd, so I don't want to hear it. I mean, that doesn't really prove anything. Letterboxd has TV shows now too. But anyways, Serial Experiments Lain was really good. It's a good show, and I suggest you guys watch it. And then another one, the next one, is also an anime, Perfect Blue, which I totally forgot I watched this year. But regardless, it's still really good, and I had a great time watching it. So it's really good, really tense, really awesome. The next is Tenet. I did a Christopher Nolan marathon this year, so I watched all his movies, and Tenet is one that stood out to me. I think it's really good. I think it's really well made. I think it's awesome. However, I don't think it's his best. It's just one of the honorable mentions. I will have a video out about the Christopher Nolan marathon I had, so don't be afraid. I will talk about Tenet more in depth later. The Card Counter, Paul Schrader. I think is my first Paul Schrader movie, and it's awesome. I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. Oscar Isaac does an amazing job in this role, and it's just such a well-made movie, and everyone should go watch it. I think I talked about this in my last Evil Dead video, so everyone should go watch that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. This movie is really good, really well made, really well paced. It's awesome. And I watched the 1978 version earlier last year, so I was expecting... I don't know what I was expecting. So I went in pretty blind. I knew what happened in the 78 version. I did not know that these movies were going to be very different, and I was pleasantly surprised. Anyways, we've given enough time talking about honorable mentions. Time to talk about the top 10. And at number 10, we have Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. You know it. You probably love it. This film follows an accountant who embezzles funds from her superiors and ends up at Bates Motel, where she is met with the mysterious and shy Norman Bates. This film is one of the few black and white movies I've seen, and I loved it. This is a Hitchcock film, and I'm probably putting this film criminally below where some people think I should put it, but who cares? It's my list, not yours. So, haha. This film is really great visually. it's so tightly well written, and the performances are just amazing. Hitchcock is such a great director for having all these excellent sequences play out, and is just a captivating director. I don't get how he does it, but as a great director, he really upped his game in this next film. At number 9, Vertigo. Again, I know the classic Alfred Hitchcock movie probably should be higher, but whatever. This movie is so gorgeous and stunning, and it's so compelling. This movie changed me, and by the end messed me up. So in this movie, a former detective, former because he had an incident that had him develop acrophobia and vertigo. I get it because it's called vertigo. And is hired as a PI to spy on a man's wealthy wife, as she may be possessed by one of her ancestors. As the two interact, the two fall more closely in love with one another. God, I don't know how to speak. This is a tragic tale of two lovers, but things that happen to them are just terrible. This movie is also gorgeous. It has a stunning use of color and great shot composition, and it's beautiful. Just beautiful. Hitchcock is a director I'd like to get more familiar with, but this is one of my favorites by him so far. It's not exactly a scary movie, but a thriller is a more adequate title. A lot of people see Hitchcock as a scary writer, but he really knows how to write great and compelling love stories. And luckily, he had two great actors who also had wonderful chemistry together. They just don't write love stories like they used to. But the plot twist is one nobody would have ever seen, and it is timeless. I'm surprised it's not talked about more than Psycho, but, you know.
On a big screen at the Capitol Theater in New York with my friends who were 15 years old. And even though the film was not received well at the time, we responded to the film very strongly. Didn't know why. Couldn't really tell why. Couldn't tell what was happening. But we really went with the picture and remembered it. And it took years for us to see it again. But there's a sequence in that film where he's just following, Jimmy Stewart's following Kim Novak in her car. And it's just shot after shot of him driving. It's how he's composed in the center of the frame, how she's composed. It's the serenity of the camera positions. I'm not saying that just to be a contraire, you know, to some of the murder scenes in Psycho and that sort of thing. Yeah, I like watching those. And the actual shower scene in Psycho I use as a template for some of the for one of the big moments in Raging Bull for a fight scene as a template. But I'm finding that over the years, the scenes that stay with me are the seemingly quieter scenes, the scenes where it appears that not much is happening with the Hitchcock film. And it's all happening there in him, the obsession of following her everywhere she goes with that car. It's a beautiful sequence. And of course, Bernard Herrmann's music doesn't hurt it.
Number 8, we have Nimona. After one of the royal guards appears to assassinate the queen, he must set aside his prejudices and work together with a shape-shifting monster. Nimona surprised me genuinely. I thought it was a cute, charming kids movie, and it is. I just had expected it to be okay, though. Again, I try going to movies not expecting anything, but I did not know that this was a queer story, and a really amazing one at that. This movie also deals with some pretty heavy topics, one scene in particular about being about self-harm or suicide. So that is a content warning for people who are sensitive about that. This film made me cry as someone who has had experiences with that sort of thing, though. I don't really like to talk about it, but still, you know, hit home with me and my experiences, especially what it had to say about gender identity and queerness in general. This movie just has a special place in my heart, and I think it will for years to come. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the directors and the creators of Nimona. It makes me very emotional. I don't think I'll ever have an experience watching a movie like that for a while. So, thank you. Number 7, Wonka. Wonka follows the rise of Willy Wonka as he comes into a new town with new ideas of bringing people his wonderful and extravagant chocolates, since dedicating his life to sharing chocolate with the world. As of writing this script, I watched Wonka yesterday. As of recording it, I watched it about a week ago. And I think it's safe to say, out of over 100 movies I watched this year, Wonka is one of the best. I was thinking when I initially made the script, I wouldn't have any more movies that would make it to the top 10 of the list, especially a new release film. This movie is so whimsical and fun and lovely while having so much heart and care, and that's what Paul King does. Paul King is really good at putting a part of himself into the movie. He only has 4 films out, and I've seen both Paddingtons, and now I've seen Wonka. I really want to check out his debut, but that's for another time. This movie is also a musical, fun fact, just like the rest of the Wonka movies, so it should not be surprising to people. But I get why, because the marketing for this movie is terrible. I hate the marketing team for this. I hate studios for this. I just cannot believe the people who clamor on about seeing how good Paddington movies are and then disregard Wonka because it looked bad. Bro, go see a movie and go make your own decisions, okay? YouTubers' words are not gospel. Remember that. When I'm famous and swag and sexy. And number 6, The Box. The Box, 2009, directed by Richard Kelly, is his last film before taking a very long hiatus. He's still currently in a hiatus, but he's working on something else. No one knows. I think he's talking about a sequel to Donnie Darko. Who knows? We'll see. So, the movie follows a family of 3 as Christmas is coming around the corner, and they are given a mysterious box that holds a button inside. The button is explained to the movie. Wait. Oh, God. I didn't finish writing the script for this part. Oh, fuck me.
A financial opportunity. Let me explain. Why not? If you push the button, 2 things will happen. First, someone somewhere in the world whom you don't know will die. Second, you will receive a payment of $1 million.
That's all I want to say about this movie. If you watch it, it is an experience. Honestly and genuinely, it is one of the greatest experiences I've had watching a movie. This movie is so good, and I love it so goddamn much. Honestly, I want to rewatch it, and it might become higher on all my lists. But for now, it's number 6. It is such a great take of artistic expression on religion, or at least a higher power. I believe this film is a bit blasphemous because my understanding of the film, it kind of leans toward the idea that there is actually some sort of other powerful beings that overlook us. Why would they want to be on Earth, though? Why do they have this amazing power? We don't know. And maybe I'll make a video on the unofficial Darko trilogy, and how the films may be connected. Not in a cinematic universe way, but like maybe in a way of like ideas, goals, aspirations, messages. This film is just so deep and profound. I love it. I do have more thoughts I might put into a real video about the movie, or sorry, not a real video, but like a single video about the movie, or about the trilogy I just mentioned. But either way, moving on to the next film.
Almost impossible.
Number 5, The Evil Dead. When a group of teenagers go into a cabin in the woods for a nice vacation turns deadly when they find Deus Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead, and unleash a great evil into their cabin. God, I can't talk. And this is an amazing directorial debut. We actually have another Evil Dead movie further up this list, and that's all I'll say about that. Blinkety blink blink blink.
Blink, blink, blink. Blinkety, blink, blink, blink.
Are you actually saying blink?
No. Blink, blink, blink.
Joker. That's an
But Sam Raimi is such a goat. I love his films. I also saw Drag Me to Hell this year, which is also a banger. So don't let anyone tell you he's not a good director. They are wrong. He's always been the GOAT and always will be the GOAT. Except for that weird sexual assault scene in this movie. That is weird. Otherwise, this movie inspired me to make content again. And that's why I made the Evil Dead video. I made the Evil Dead video before 2 videos I had planned. I had the Nolan movie marathon planned out before it. And I had the Alien movies planned. I was going to do a ranking of that one. And I still will. That will be a video I make sometime next year. Not now. Later. And this movie inspired me to pursue my passions of becoming a filmmaker. I don't know what it is that inspired me so much, but it struck a fire in me. And I just feel like I feel it. And I've been busy with life lately, so this is my official apology for a very long hiatus. Me and my really big fan base. On to the next film. Number 4, Evil Dead 2. An amazing sequel. How does the GOAT do it? Back-to-back bangers. This is the last Evil Dead movie on the list, but it is an amazing film. This movie kind of follows the first one, but focuses a little more on the comedy aspect of the movie with Campbell's hilarious portrayal of Ash. This movie is funny, this movie is heartfelt, this movie is raw and genuine, and has such an excellent craft to it. This is very much like the first movie, but with a bit of changes. Bruce Campbell is excellent in this role, and I'm so glad he's played the character for so long. This movie's just so fun. I already know I made a video about the Evil Dead, so you guys can check that out in the description below and whatnot, if you wanted to, because you love me. Moving on to the top 3 movies this year that I watched. Number 3, Princess Mononoke. This is actually my third. This is the third Studio Ghibli I've seen. At the time I was writing this, I have seen The Boy and the Heron since then. So, I mean, it's still the third one I've seen. I don't know. I adore this movie. It's so beautifully animated and has such a unique environment that makes you feel so desolate, but also see such beauty. A great contrast to the human village and the forest they destroy. It's such a great movie about the horrors of war and the effects of deforestation for profit. I'm excited because I would really like to start a Hayao Miyazaki movie marathon, and so far the track record has been phenomenal. I watched this film on a whim and saw it really early this year in March, but it left such an impact on me. A lot of these films I first watched really early on, and I'm slightly disappointed, but mostly impressed that I've seen nothing to top it. And I did watch The Boy and the Heron. Like I said, unfortunately, that movie does not do it for me. Perhaps I need a rewatch, but that is just a problem I have with Miyazaki's films so far. I think that they kind of go over my head, and I know it's me being dumb and stupid still, but I do love Howl's Moving Castle. Hee hee. Anyways, that's not the point of this one. Mononoke has so much to say, and it captures so much beauty and distraught and destruction that I couldn't help but fall in love with this movie. Anyways, that's it for this film. Now, moving on to Boys in the Hood. Number two, The Boys in the Hood, whatever. Shut up. It's hard to describe this movie as it kind of generally follows the life of a boy who grows up in the hood of Los Angeles and the hardships that follow being a black person in America, while also being so much more than just that. This film broke me, honestly. I actually wrote an essay in my English class about how it should be part of the literary canon, based on how not only influential it is, but how culturally significant it is. John Singleton has made a master-crafted art piece, real cinema. And as people in my real life circles know, I have a lot to say about racial matters and how important those kind of things are to me. This is a great movie for everybody to watch. So instead of watching The Outsiders, people should be watching Boys in the Hood instead. Perfect in every way. And I'm so glad my eyes have been opened to such a film that has so much to say and says it fucking phenomenally. What it has to say about love, discrimination, violence, racism, and culture is so profound and well thought out. I cannot believe this is Singleton's directorial debut. It is so masterly crafted and is just so creative. And God, I love cinema so much. I love movies, Charlie. I love movies!
Screaming that at the top of your lungs.
Honestly, was so close to being my number one film this year. Until I saw...
Stop Spider-Man!
You? No, wait, you?
Ay, coño, Miles! Miles Morales! He's entering Sector 4!
Do I, have web on my face? What's the deal?
Miles! He's right there! He's right... Turn around!
I don't see anything, boss.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Who would have seen this coming? Oh. Across the Spider-Verse follows a year after Into the Spider-Verse as Miles faces a new foe, the Spot. And with a spider society, he tries to team up with some old friends and new faces. But everything is not as it seems. Anyways, this is honestly one of the pinnacles of cinema for me. I was mesmerized watching this movie from beginning to end. This film is honestly perfect for me. A perfect Spider-Man film and just a perfect film in general. I love everything about this movie. The characters are so compelling. The emotional beats hit me. And I know I'm biased to Spider-Man, but I literally have a Spider-Man tattoo on my arm. But regardless, this is my list first and foremost. And I believe this is an amazing movie with an amazing cast, art direction, a beautiful movie to watch, and a great story. Honestly, it makes me depressed thinking that Beyond the Spider-Verse will be this iteration of Miles' last movie. I love his character and I got inspired to be better, be a better person, and showed me how anyone can be a hero. Into the Spider-Verse is still one of my favorite movies, and I'm so glad this sequel met my expectations and even exceeded them. This also goes a little into my rant about how super movies, more broadly, intellectual properties, but there's actually a really good video on that. I'll put it in the description below by Patrick H. Williams, I think. This is just honestly a perfect movie for me. Absolutely believe this is one of the best movies of all time, and I'll put my life on that. So that's my top 10 of the year. I was very happy with this list. I love these movies, and I love talking about cinema. Honestly, this has been such a great time. I'm going to talk about the top 10 2023 movies. I'm going to go really fast because I talk about 3 of them in this list. So, number 10, Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Number 9, Godzilla Minus One. Number 8, Talk to Me. Number 7, Thanksgiving. Number 6, Dungeons and Dragons. Number 5, we have Oppenheimer. Number 4, we have Knock at the Cabin. 3, Nimona. 2, Wonka. 1, Across the Spider-Verse. That's my 2023 list. So, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I get back into making more content. I'd really like to pursue this creation business, and it has me kind of happy to do it. So expect more uploads next year. I probably won't have anything else to upload this year, since Christmas is in 2 days as I'm recording this. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Also, there's no movie of the day this video. You should watch all 25 movies that I talked about today. But I will have a video of the day. It'll be linked down in the description below. It talks about the death of cinema, and it's really interesting case study on film in general. And remember, kids, watch more movies. All right. Peace out.